Well, good evening, everyone. This is Randy Small, Whatcom County weather. Hopefully, we will be on here for take a look at the Christmas forecast. So, I will be checking in here with all of you as we are going to do some live looking at the weather model updates for tonight. And I'm just going to get Facebook going so we have both streams. But welcome. Hopefully, how you can hear me fine. But good evening. Thanks for joining in. I'm just a hair behind. My truck had a dead battery tonight, and I was trying to use it to get ready for something tomorrow. And we tried a couple different ways of jumping it, but I think it's going to need a new battery. It sits a lot, and it's an older truck, so I am a little behind getting set up. But I think we're good to go here. Is everybody? Yes, Keith says loud and clear. Great. And let's just kind of check in on Facebook here. Looks like everything is going. You should be able to see my observations. So we'll just go ahead and get started here. And if you have questions or comments, just go ahead and put them in either chat or the comments in Facebook. And also, if you would hit the thumbs up on YouTube and Facebook, give a love. That gets them into the algorithm. And then if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, even if you don't watch it, please subscribe. We're closing in now on 2,000 followers with just a few weeks into this. And then we also have applied for monetization. So we're on that next step, which is going to open up some more avenues here for us. So glad you're here. Thank you for joining. I am making some progress on changing my internet here at the house. I'm going to be upgrading, and I'm also going to hopefully be upgrading out in the field with some kind of setup to make sure my stream doesn't fail. And also, I had a friend down here who is helping me set up dual streams out while I'm driving around, and he's helping me with that. And he's also building my new Whatcom County WX website. So good things are going to happen here, it looks like, coming up. And so we really appreciate it. The more you guys watch or listen or just let it go on YouTube, especially, that'll help our watch hours. But we are closing in on the 4,000 mark. So we've passed the 3,000. So really appreciate y'all. Let's get into this tonight. Thank you again for joining on both streams. And if you're new, I am Randy Small. I started Whatcom County Weather a little over 8 years ago. I think it was 2017, Black Friday 2017, and the rest is history. We just passed 64,000 followers on Facebook. That's pretty good considering we're just Whatcom County primarily. So really grateful for all of you. Okay, let's look. The wind, it's been pretty windy here tonight, but things are a little scaling back here, as you can see. Here, hopefully everything is looking good to be able to see the black is temps. We're in the 40s, mostly low 40s. Got a 39 up here in Sumas. Of course, up in the foothills, it's going to be cooler. And up at the mountain, it is 28 at the ski area. But we have some southerly wind. But again, the max southerly today was 40 at the airport. And interestingly enough, us in Linden got it 35 at Jennifer's weather station and 32 on mine. So definitely got hit pretty good. Let's check the Ferndale 36. So a lot of 30s and above just in quick check. That should scale back. Our wind advisory is over. We do have one, as far as I know, one weather headline, and that is in the mountains for a winter storm warning. I think maybe the Olympics and us are the only ones left with really any major headlines. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's check in on Bellingham Airport real quick. And I know you're here for the forecast, and I'm just like doing this. We're at 7 inches of precip for the month of December. And today we probably added, I can tell you how much we added. We added historical here. I'm going to set this up for precip for today. And I just want to see how much the airport added to this total. It's got to have added some. Yeah, 0.18. So let's add another 0.18 into our number. And we are now at almost 7.25 inches. And the record is 9.99 inches. So and I'm not sure we're going to hit that, but it's just crazy amount. That's got to be approaching at least a top 15. Well, while we're asking, or while we're wondering, I'm going to pull that up for how much rain we've gotten in the time period for the month of December at Bellingham International Airport. And we're really quick going to pull this up. And I want to see where we are. And we know we can add in today's. Okay, so for nope, that's temperature. Come on, precip. Let's get the total precip here. We are at after today, we're at number 6 all time. Probably will pass into the top 5. We'll for sure get a top 5. We'll get in the top 4. We may get in the top 3. We may get in the top 2. It's just over an inch between now and then to get in the top 2. So, that's amazing. That is some kind of amazing craziness. So enough of that. Let's take a look quick at the ski area. They have about 15 inches or so, 14 or 15 inches ending in the 7 o'clock hour this morning. That's a 24-hour period. It looks like they've got another almost foot of snow since about 9 o'clock this morning. The snow report puts us at 2:16 p.m. today. And we had 10 inches over the 24 hours. Now, this isn't updated for today. For most of the snow happened after 2 o'clock. So you can add another 9 inches to this total about here or so. So they are up 60 inches, 100 inches at Pandome, 5,000 feet. This is crazy. And they said, I believe I read it was 60 inches in 4 days. And there's more heavy snowfall coming tonight. They opened for everyone today, and I think just about everything is opened. Just about all the chairs. I mean, amazing what's happened at Mount Baker since a week ago. A week ago tonight is when it started. So just craziness, and that's what can happen up there. So great news for them. We won't check the forecast, and I do want to show you the snow level for the ski area. And it's sitting at 2,300 feet. That's well below White Salmon. I believe White Salmon, 3,600. So well below that. And you can see just about this whole week is going to be below White Salmon. There is a little uncertainty right in here on Wednesday afternoon or midday Wednesday. But look at this. We got snow levels down to 400 with a possibly all the way down to 0 later in the week. We have probably lost our chance for any white Christmas, although I suppose we could have a surprise, but that we've got some low snow levels coming toward the weekend, but just about the rest of the week is showing almost everything below ski area. That is just going to keep piling up the snow up there. So that is absolutely amazing as well. And I appreciate everybody joining. Again, put your comments. Jennifer is helping moderate. Keith is always here with the wrench. Keith has the short leash if anybody gets out of hand. but in all seriousness, we really appreciate you all joining, and absolutely, I see Anthony's here, or was here. He's going to be jumping over to help Michael on his stream, but Puget Sound Stormwatch. Benjamin was doing a Washington Live on Washington Weather Chasers about the windstorm. So I think that's enough. Let's just get in what we're looking at over the next, day before we get into the Christmas Eve. So we are the 22nd. So I want to talk mainly about the next day-ish, and before we get in there. So let's just take a look at the GFS real quick. I'm not going to spend a long time on this because we want to look if there's going to be a windstorm or what the chances are. So let me just look at the precip. It looks like we're going to continue seeing some precip overnight, especially up in the mountains. But still us into Tuesday, at least on the GFS. Let's just quick check the Euro. That's kind of similar what the Euro's saying. So it looks like we got continued rain, off and on at times. So the Euro might not be as wet, but this is not the newest run. So, and that's about as far as I'm going to look. It looks like tomorrow is again, and if we just double check the forecast for NOAA, we got a rain likely tonight, and then they have it lessening tomorrow. So they must be going mainly off the Euro. And actually, they like to use the national blend of models. Let's just see what the national blend of models. Okay, so that's why they have the chance of rain tomorrow way less, because the national blend of models is not showing a ton of rain for tomorrow. So they're banking on this one. So they have less precip than the other two low res GFS and Euro. But there's a chance of rain tomorrow. Maybe it will be a more decent day than today. Although today at times wasn't bad. We saw the sun at least for 5 seconds this morning. So anyway, so that's about the next day or so. Wind, I'm just going to bring that up before I get to the major part of what we're talking about tonight, as in Christmas Eve and then Christmas Day. And there's been a lot of uncertainty in that forecast. So let me just pull up here the wind for just the next day or so before we take a look at what might be a windstorm, although the weather models are certainly going back and forth about that. So, but I do want to check the wind here. Hopefully you can see this. Let me turn this over here a second so you can see that. 1 second here. And we'll look at the wind. You got that funny multicolored map with the wind barbs up now, hopefully. And so a little bit of precip for tomorrow, but the wind is, let's take a look here. I'm just going to put this into motion as we go in. And I don't know what, I guess this is tonight's UW run. So this is for 1 in the morning. So it looks like the southerlies seem to scale back overnight and then pick up again along the water tomorrow morning. And a little bit of battle of north flow. So it looks like around the water, the Blaine, Fairhaven, Bellingham, Ferndale area, looks like it might have some more southerlies coming, especially and on the water. But along there, the coastal line is kind of some southerlies going on tomorrow. I'm not sure about how far inland that will reach. May reach a little bit here in the morning. But the North County might escape, a little bit of north flow coming, but that is trying to give some outflow, but nothing crazy into Tuesday night. So I'm going to stop there, and I am going to, let me see here. I am going to take a look at what is rumored out there to be a possible windstorm. So, and I'm doing this on the fly here because I didn't get it all set up because I had my dead battery. But let's take a look at what we have as a mean sea level pressure chart here. And we're looking for something that has a little L for a low pressure system. And the smaller the number, the stronger the system. I don't want to liken it to a hurricane, but if you could take that number, if you get a hurricane at 960 and then it gets down to 950, that's just generally a stronger hurricane. That's a similar idea. These are not hurricanes, but they're low pressure systems that generate our big windstorms. I'm not saying that's what is coming, but you'll see quickly that the weather models are all over the place, at least were earlier today, with the potential of the windstorm. So, and we're looking for an L, and generally, and you might see if I can get one up here before the main, yeah, I guess I'm not. But a lot of times our big windstorms happen when this, and you might see it up in the top left corner, I'm kind of running my mouse around it, this L1005. Hey Mark, how are you doing? Good to see you. Well, kind of see you. Yeah, we're all live. We have nothing better to do. No, I think everybody's looking at these model updates tonight. But that little L up here is a little low pressure system. And when we get those and they're deepening, especially as they come in kind of over the corner of the Olympics and kind of just over the southern end of Vancouver Island and angle in, that's where we can get big windstorm issues. If that low is further south, then the windstorm would be further south, at least the southerly, and we'd get more of a northerly flow. But there's a lot to this. And so as we put this 18Z Euro in, into motion here as we go, this is as we go into Christmas Eve, right here, you'll see this L start coming up the coastline of California. And here it is. And this was the earlier run today of the Euro. The 0Z might just be coming out here soon. But you see how it skirts and kind of, well, it kind of plays around down here in Northern California, and then it kind of dives inland. That is probably not much for a major windstorm. Right there, that track, I mean, it would be more California. Yes, they could have some, maybe some Southern Oregon stuff, and maybe inland here in Eastern Oregon. But that really wouldn't be a major damaging windstorm for Washington, at least just on the outset. And I'm going to translate this over to the surface winds here. And I'm just going to take a look and see. This is the wind from earlier, probably today. But you can kind of see as we come forward, the coast would get some of this. But there's just not much. Let me back this up. There's just not much for, I mean, there's some wind here in California and a little bit in Eastern Oregon, but not much for anybody else on the 18Z Euro. Now, if we go to a more high-res model, the NAM from 0Z tonight, let's put this into motion here, where I'm just going to fast forward this really quick. And you're going to see this L right here. And it's right at the bottom, and it's a 980. I probably should zoom this back out. Let me see if I can put this on the west coast here. And you'll see this L, kind of this with this circle around it. It's a 972, and then it goes to 971, and it's coming, it's a little bit off the California coast, okay? But it's coming up the coastline. This is an unusual track of a windstorm, but it would also be a potential, if this were to NAM, North American model were to verify, and I'm going to zoom back into the Pacific Northwest because we can see it bigger now, this would cause some issues. Okay, let's just follow this up. It's weakening a little there as it comes up the coast, 975, 977, 979, dives out there, 981. It kind of goes further away from the Washington coast, and then eventually, later Wednesday, it dives inland over the Olympics. Still pretty good gradient would be coming out of that. And what this would translate, I'm going to back this back up here. I'm going to show you what this would kind of translate into winds at the surface here. And you can see, if I jump back out to the west coast here, you'll see the winds down here. Look at this crazy, I mean, these are like 70-mile-an-hour gusts right along the coastline of California. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but you can kind of, and you see that moving up. In fact, let me hit the southwest here, and you can see 70, and it's kind of moving up the coast because that low is 80 miles an hour. Let's see. Is that Crescent City area? Brookings is in Southern Oregon, Crescent City. If we extended that to California, and I know you're not so worried probably mostly about California, but if you look at this, this is some craziness for wind. Now, the North American model, the NAM, often will overdo this, but you can see this. I mean, the red is like 100 miles an hour. This would be nuts. It has a 93. Maybe that's Crescent City, and Brookings is 86 miles an hour. Again, we're not saying that's going to happen, but there are some crazy outlandish possibilities. But there's also some possibilities that this is not really anything. So how do you communicate all of this? Let me go back to the Northwest here. Hold on. Let me pull up the Pacific Northwest. And now you're going to see it come up that coastline. And this one is a damaging windstorm for Southern Oregon into the Willamette Valley, up into Portland area, as that low just keeps coming up the coast. And I mean, it's just, and it keeps going north. Now we're going in later on Christmas Eve. It's 21Z, so that is, early afternoon. I mean, 68 miles an hour, 65 in Tacoma, 60 at Bellingham Airport. This would be a region-wide windstorm. But here's the problem. The weather models have not come close to converging on a solution. And so we don't really know what's going to happen yet, of course. And it's going to be, I would say at this point, if you lived in Northern California and Oregon, especially closer to the coast, I'd be prepared for some kind of windstorm. But there is also a possibility that it could come inland. It could come up the coast. Bellingham and Whatcom County is probably one of the last places. Number one, it would get it. It would get us last, kind of on the west coast, at least in the U.S. I would have to look to see, because most of them are diving inland as you go. So BC might get a little, but it would be along the border and maybe a little bit inland. Up here, we might completely dodge it and others might get it, but it's also possible everybody dodges it. It's also possible everybody gets it. So, but we are probably the least likely in one sense to get it because we'd be the last one and we don't know where that low is going to dive inland or where it's going to end up. But we have to be prepared. Okay, if there's a windstorm, and this is a big one, are we prepared for that? I don't know that this is going to be the big one. We haven't had a regional windstorm in a while. Is Hanukkah Eve the last big one? I know there's been some, I guess there's been other ones, but that's probably the last really big one. I might be missing one or two. But, okay, so let me show you something else though. Let me just pull up the GFS, and I have not looked at the GFS tonight. So let me pull up the GFS here a second. And I'm going to pull up the 0Z here, which is the newest one. I think it is probably almost done here. Let's see. I did not switch over. Come on. Wake up. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to put the GFS into motion for today. Here's Tuesday, and here comes the low. It's a 993. It's much less than what the NAM has. It is deepening to 985 as it comes up the coast. 984, kind of 985, 987, 990, and then it kind of disappears. I'm not sure where it goes, if it goes to the left up here. But so let's translate this in. What would that be for wind? Definitely not as strong as the NAM, but definitely it looks like stronger than the 18Z Euro. Let's take a look at the wind gust here. You can see it's pretty strong starting there in California. It actually has, I'm not sure if those winds, what those winds are associated with, but as it comes up, it might deal a little bit of a blow along the Oregon-Washington coastline, and then it would, it's got 49 miles an hour here as you go in the afternoon, and probably, and I'm not putting it into every hour here, this is 3-hour increments, but that's a decent blow, but it's not near with the North American model, but it's more than the European is showing. Let's take a look at the Europe 12Z, because I'm pretty sure the 12Z Euro was pretty weak. I do remember that, seeing that. Let me just bump this back. These are wind gusts. And let me just, California. But here we go on Christmas Eve. There's nothing that's on this 12Z run that's showing anything that would be a major windstorm. In fact, you'd all be kind of laughing at us who are trying to forecast or trying to figure out what's going to happen. Be like, what storm? You'd be like, your garbage can would blow over and that would be the worst. But in actuality, and I'm going to get to your comments in about a minute here. In actuality, I think we probably all would rather not have a big windstorm on Christmas Eve. Obviously, it would be easy to name a windstorm after the Christmas Eve 2025 storm, but with all that goes on and with travel and, if you have trees falling down and power going out and, it's just a mess. So, and this, if it was the higher end, oh my goodness. I mean, it would be bad with all the traffic and etc. So, yeah, I think we need to kind of be cautionary about this, but we also need to say it's possible we don't see a whole lot. Whatcom County is probably the tail end of this at this point. And it would be a major thing for California and Oregon and possibly into southern Washington, but it could affect everybody, but it could affect nobody or very few. I don't know how else to say it. Okay, let me look at your comments here while I have take a break here a second. Appreciate everybody coming on. Looks like a lot of you checking in here. A lot of usuals here. Really, really appreciate that. Greg Macy's here. GB Linden is here. Some of your names I don't know the people here, but I see the neighbors or the names of you. And Jennifer Faber asks, how comfortable are you promoting the fundraiser for Whatcom County Weather? I've been a little hesitant for a couple of reasons, but I'm willing to share it. And you can find it on Whatcom County Weather, but I've been hesitant kind of because of the flood, to be honest. But you can find it on the top of the page. And then there's a GoFundMe link, and you can click on it. We've raised, about, now this is a little bit of, this isn't the total number, but we've raised, about $1,200 of the $7,000. Having said that, there's been a bunch of donations that have come in through checks and Venmo and just people giving cash. So I would say that's probably closer to 3,000 of what we've raised. And we do appreciate, but the other thing we realize is there's just a lot of hurt in the county right now, and there's a lot of hardship. And so obviously people can give, some might want to. If you don't want to pay the GoFundMe fee, we also have a Ko-Fi thing set up. I can drop that link. We have Venmo. We have, you can mail checks, but we just appreciate, and we have been supported so well over the years, and it's the reason I was able to do this, because I was able to quit my other second job, which has turned into about 4 other things I'm doing now. But okay, so appreciate that, Jennifer. The ski cam, Jan asking about the ski cam. There is no ski cam at Mount Baker. There is no public cam. There might be some trail cams up there, but there is no public one. So sorry. Keith was at Bellingham Bay, took some video. Okay. A few people saying hi here. Okay. And Anthony from Puget Sound Stormwatch was here. Okay, let's see. Somebody wants a few, and again, I don't know names here, but I'm on YouTube doing this. I want a few snowflakes Christmas morning. I'm telling you, I just don't think that's going to happen. I mean, maybe there could be some foothills that might see it, but the snow levels have pretty much trended up, and the GFS is kind of almost dry for Christmas Day, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But just not a lot of moisture. Could be some northeast wind on at some point along the way, but yeah, just not seeing a whole lot there of snow. There was, some of the apps were showing it. There was some close possibilities, but in the end, it's just not. It just doesn't look like it's going to happen. And if I switch back here to the snow level, the snow levels for Christmas Day is sitting at the lowest end, above 1,000 feet. So again, foothills, could it see a few snowflakes or even a little bit? Sure, maybe. Even tomorrow we could see that possibly, but the average looks like it's about 1,300, and on Christmas Day the average is sitting at 1,900. There's a discrepancy. It could go up as high as this, it could go as low as this, but yeah. That's just, that's kind of where we sit. I don't think we're going to see much of a white Christmas in the lowlands this year, unless I'm totally missing something, which I suppose is a possibility. But, yeah, you never know. So, but I think overall, I think I do know. I don't think it's going to happen. So, let's me finish with these comments here. Mark Stewart is here. Appreciate that. Good to see you. John asked, when are the next set of updated models? The GFS is pretty much done tonight. The 0Z, as we're on the 0Z, which is Zulu time. We're 8 hours behind Zulu time. The computer starts spitting it out about 4 p.m., the GFS. Well, all of these actually get spit out. The 0Zs get spit out at 4. But by the time it gets to the computer, some of them are quicker than others. The high-res models that don't go out as far get them out faster. The low-res that go out further takes longer. But the GFS usually starts at 7:30, and the Euro, I think, is 8:45. So we're kind of waiting on the Euro, and I'll be able to look at it probably before we're done tonight, because that'll be a big thing to see what it's saying. So, and then the next runs after that will be the 6Z, which come out at like, whatever, 3:45, 2:45, something in the morning. So, okay. Looks like Mark is going to go help Michael over on his live stream. So lots of people, Mark's mentioning about the Euro down, hopefully downtrend, because otherwise we're going to be in trouble. So yeah, we'll see. Again, Merry Christmas to Mark, and Happy Holidays to Mark. Appreciate it. Mark's a really good photographer, and he's gotten into weather, and he helps out with some of the other chasers and other things in down south in this King County, etc., etc. Jennifer says Utah model showing northeast wind Christmas Eve. Okay, we'll take a look at that in a minute. Jan asks if there's any. Oh, I missed some. Hold on. Let me, can you look at the Mount Baker? Yeah, I already said that one. Where? Oh, AI model update next. Yes, that's right. There are the AI models. Euro and GFS have AI models. And there's also the Canadian model as well. So, Let's see what else. I'm just looking through these. Steph says, thanks for all you do. Appreciate it. Yeah, I don't think any of us really want a Christmas Eve windstorm. But, you know, I also don't want to say there's a zero chance of it when some of the weather models have shown some craziness. So we'll see. Jan says she saw one that was public. If you can find a Mount Baker ski cam, unless you were talking about Stevens or Snoqualmie, they all have cams. Whistler has one. I can pull that up here. Let's see here. We can, like Whistler has a camera, and, Stevens and Snoqualmie. Let's see if these, looks like they're getting hit maybe up there at Whistler. Look at that. Oh, don't want that. But look at that, snowing at 6,000 feet. Here is the 5,000 foot snow, 8 inches, the snow stake. Down here, even at the lower village cam where we were in October, has got some snow. Look at this. Creekside, I was there at Creekside. My wife and I. Look at that, 322 people watching tonight. So, anywho, you can kind of see that. Here, I'll leave that on a second for you all. Okay, is there any public cams that show snow? Yes. Yes, I think I'm answering that. Again, if you Google Stevens Pass, White Pass, all of those will be probably, I don't think it's probably snowing in Leavenworth tonight. Let me just check, but Leavenworth has a wonderful set of webcams as well here, but it does not look like it is snowing in Leavenworth, so I'm not sure why it's not coming off of that, but it doesn't look like it's snowing in the beautiful Bavarian town of Leavenworth. So I'll leave it on Whistler's cam here for a second. There you go. You can watch snow. Anything on the Fraser outflow? I will look at that in just a second. Okay, Steph asked about the snow level on Saturday. Accumulations in Sudden Valley possible. It's too early to say about that. Too early. I'm not sure what I can tell you other than we got to just watch that. But I've been watching this windstorm a little bit, and also, what was the chance of a white Christmas? So beyond that, probably on the next live we'll address that. To see if there's anything. Jan says, went and stood in Emerson Road cam and it took a pic of me. Yes. And I've actually stood in this webcam right here in Whistler and took a selfie as it took a picture of me. So that was kind of fun. Okay, Tim the plumber in Neptune Beach. Merry Christmas. Okay, let me check Facebook here. Let me see a few people. Leslie says she's tired of the wind. I hear you. As Christina also says. And I'm not sure how to say your name, Thrace, but I probably just messed that up. But I so apologize. But yes, doesn't want to see wind either. Christina. Oh wait, I already mentioned that. Doesn't want to see wind. Thank you, Sarah, for the stars. Trish says hi. Hi, Trisha. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you. It was so good to see you the other night at the restaurant. That was a lot of. Really appreciate talking to you. That was a lot of fun. Okay. Okay, let's look at northeast wind. Let's go ahead and push the GFS to continue on here. Yes, we have some northeast wind on the GFS tonight. Fraser outflow, as that low comes up here, it's drawing probably some cold air and northeast wind through the Fraser Canyon. And here comes on the GFS tonight, here comes this southerly off the coast. Let me make sure you can all see this. Let me see if I can bump out. Hopefully you can see that. But these oranges and these grays down here in the bottom left, that is some pretty gnarly wind. 60 knots. 65 knots. And usually to figure out miles per hour, you just take how many fives are in 60 and add that. So there's 12 fives in 60, add 60 plus 12, it's like 70 mile an hour winds, actually 70 plus. So that's a good blow coming up here on the UW high res tonight. There is a way, I think, to switch this to 1 hour now. Now it is hourly, so I don't know why. Okay, well, it's doing it in 3 hour increments, actually. And the UW actually gives us a huge blow up here, even. Wow. Okay, that would be another thing that we need to keep an eye on. If this, the UW can be off on some of this sometimes, as all weather models can, but this is this is like 60 knots in the county. Here, let me zoom in on that. Look at this. Here's the coastal line. Here's, Lummi Island, but that is orange. This would be a devastating blow to Whatcom County. So we have to keep an eye on this. Yikes. It's actually shocked me a little bit here. After, seeing the others, there we go. After seeing the others, kind of obviously the North American model, but this one kind of really wants to give it here. And I would assume that would be giving it up. That's 3-hour increments, so we're missing the in between hours. But in 3 hours, that moves really fast. Oh wait, actually that's 6 out. No, that's 3 hours. Wow, that's a fast moving storm, fast moving jet, and that continues in. I hope this is not accurate, because this is 60 knots. Wow. And I'm assuming, again, this is going to be all the way up Seattle. This would be all the way down here. It would just jump up here fast. So we do need to keep an eye on this. This opened my eyes here a second. So please stay tuned for this, because I thought, okay, things are trending kind of away from it. That's something that we need to look at. Fake Lady May is asking the time frame of the win. Yes, Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, but if you're just joining, let me state that we don't know yet. Some models are showing next to nothing, some are showing a good blow, some are showing a historic type blow to the whole region. That's about the best way I can say it. We don't know yet, but it would be somewhere in the middle of Christmas. I mean, we're going to be on the tail end of this. So on this one, it's like the afternoon hours of Christmas Eve into the evening. That's kind of about the best I can say it. And I would say, I didn't look at the time frame exactly which hours. Let me just look back here on the Euro. Let me pull up the 18. Actually, the 0Z is probably out here. Let me just look at this. Again, this would be, the 0Z, or the 18Z just doesn't. Let's look at the North American here. Hang on. I'm just looking for the time here. 21Z, so here we go again, is 9 o'clock. That's about 1 o'clock. So afternoon time. Afternoon into early, there's 4 o'clock. Again, I'm not sure if this is overdoing it. It often does. I'm not saying this kind of scenario. If this kind of scenario happens right here, this would be a devastating windstorm. Historic windstorm type thing. I sure hope this does not happen. It would be from California up Oregon, all the way through Oregon, up to Washington, and then even touching BC. That'd be just nuts. So, and again, not saying that's the wildest solution. Although the GFS tonight, the UW is pushing out some wildness itself. Whew. Interesting, that's for sure. Let's take a look real quick while I have a chance. Let me see if the Euro how far the Euro has. Well, I guess that's right. Does it start at 9:15? So we're still a little bit yet to go on that. Yes, it is not set in stone. But let's look at the area forecast discussion for tonight. I'm going to switch over back to the hazards viewer one. And I have the area forecast discussion up here. It just came out less than an hour ago. Hopefully you can see this. I probably should make this. Let's see what happens if I can make this a little bigger for you all. I don't know if that did anything, but frontal system will continue to cross the region. That's what's happening today, bringing wind, rain, and mountain snow. Low pressure system will track northward along the coast on Wednesday, bringing in another round of precip and potentially strong winds. Okay? So that is Wednesday. That's Christmas Eve. Let's go down here because, okay, it does say some drying and brief sun breaks for Tuesday. So they are really going off that NBM, the National Blend of Models, as opposed to the late runs of the Euro and GFS showing some precip, it looked like, for tomorrow. But maybe they're more talking later in the day as well. Yeah, post-frontal showers will continue into Tuesday morning. So they're talking more later in the day. Okay. The next incoming weather system will intensify There's a grammatical thing there, but intensify off the coast of California late Tuesday, shift northward across western Washington on Wednesday. While forecast models continue to struggle with the exact track of this surface low feature, it poses a risk of low probability, high impact wind event alongside additional precip. East to southeast winds are likely to pick up during the morning Wednesday along the western slopes of the Olympics and Cascades, followed by a surge of strong southerlies during the day Wednesday. While ensemble is a range of any given model, has different ensemble members and they take an average. So the mean wind gusts continue to range generally between 30 and 40 across much of western Washington. A high end scenario could bring gusts reaching 60 or more if the low pressure system tracks in the vicinity of western Washington. Confidence will increase in a more high resolution as more high res forecast data becomes available. It will remain extremely important to continue to monitor this evolving forecast over the next days, especially given the antecedent soil moisture, which would allow for heightened impacts at slightly lower wind speeds. It will be wet on Wednesday with a quarter inch of rain, and elevations above 2,500 will see a few more inches of snow. So Keith makes a good point. It's not set in stone, but there's a chance of a windstorm on Christmas Eve. And this would be afternoon. I know there was a couple people were saying, were they flying on Christmas Eve? I think you're going to want to watch this. And I do not ever speak for the airport in any of these storms. I know that ice can knock down the airport in a hurry, but when it comes to wind, I've seen airplanes at least land, and I'm no pilot. You wouldn't want me flying any plane. But I've seen them land in some pretty gnarly winds. I've got video of that. So, at the Bellingham International Airport. So I do not speak anything, for flight wise, and, if people are trying to get out for Christmas Day and all that. So, but you're going to have to keep an eye on the forecast. And you know what, honestly, no, we can't control it. If there's a windstorm, I mean, obviously I don't think any of us here really want this kind of windstorm on Christmas Eve. I mean, we have family get together, several of them coming up. Who wants to be out of power for 48 hours? I mean, that's probably, or 72 or longer if this was it's just, I don't even want to think of it. And have these crazy windstorms over the years. Of course, I did not live through the Columbus Day storm, but the Hanukkah Eve storm and some of the big blows over the years, that it's not a good thing. And there's a lot of people, more people than there was in 06 Hanukkah Eve storm, or of course the Columbus Day storm. More infrastructure, more trees, probably more buildings. Of course, they may be built better, but it's just, this is not what we want. Honestly, I like a windstorm, but I don't want to see this on Christmas Eve. So just, did my sound quit working? Something to know that everybody's talking about it. So did my sound quit working? Let me see here. I'm going back to Facebook. Sound is working. Okay. Facebook has a few comments here. Thank you, Shireen, for the stars. Really appreciate that. Candace says it was windy in Kendall. Yeah, we were under that wind advisory, and it got pretty crazy down here as well. Shireen asked me, when will the hat come out? Not anytime soon that I see at this point. So no lowland snow that would give us that winter storm warning, which is the only thing that the hat will come out for. So, let's see. May need candles for the candlelight services. Yes. And not, yeah, correct. Let's see. Sound is fine. Okay. Sarah asks, what model is typically the most accurate for our region? So that is a really difficult question to answer. So when I come back here, let me switch this back to the the Euro for a low res. And when we say low resolution, it can't see the terrain maybe as good as the high resolution models that have. Basically, these models are based off of little squares, 9 kilometer or 4 kilometer or 1.13. And when you have a big square, like a low res is, I don't know, 16K, it's 12K. Let's just say 12K. A 12 by 12 kilometer, I think that's what the K is, square that is not able to see the terrain like a little square zoomed in. Basically, it's basically zoomed in. The high res, they can see things a lot better. So the Euro is probably the best when it comes to a low res weather model. It does really well. I think if the Euro tonight is yeah, if there's a sound issue, because I got people on YouTube saying it's fine. So if there is, just restart the YouTube stream, because a lot of people are saying they can hear me. So, but when it comes to high res models, the North American model for wind usually overdoes it, as can the HER, which is a one that goes every hour. I often like to look at the Canadian high res weather model, but honestly, there's not necessarily any one. I mean, there might be a disagreement with what I'm about to say. The UW, if you put those all, kind of in a pot, some are going to get it right, some are going to get it close, some might. I mean, do they miss totally? The thing is right now we don't know. We don't have weather model agreement because the Euro is not on board. I don't know, and even the GFS is a little. I mean, it's got a windstorm, but it's not near like the high res. One thing that is concerning to me is that the high res models are showing it now. At least the ones that are close enough. We don't have the HER to be able to see yet. I don't believe. Let's take a look. Let's see if the. Hold on, let me see something, and I'll give a synopsis here in just a minute. I see people are asking. Let me look at the Canadian, because I'm not sure it goes out. Yeah, the Canadian weather model does not go out. It only goes out 48 hours. So it really isn't. I'm just looking. It really just doesn't go out far enough yet. It doesn't. I mean, and at this moment, it isn't showing too much as we get. That's 0Z on Christmas. That's 4 p.m. It's not even showing anything for a windstorm that I see. So at least on the quick look. So it's too early to say, but the North American model overdoes it often. The GFS, it can be funny. It can get it right, and then it can get it completely wrong. That's just the American. I haven't looked at the Canadian low res, the gem, yet tonight. I mean, we could just look at all these. The two UW high res and North American model high res are showing pretty good windstorm, while some of the other lower res models aren't showing a huge. At least the Euro isn't. Again, I'm kind of waiting for the 0Z to come out as well here, and it is starting to come out. I'm just going to look at one more thing here. Okay. So synopsis. Let me go over. Oh, Christmas Day. Let me quick hit Christmas Day. Hopefully it will be a little less tamer here. I'm actually just going to look here. Thursday, lighter precipits on track to spread into western Washington on Christmas, Thursday and Friday, as the low pressure system exits to the north. High pressure will build into the western U.S. and build inland, and probably going to push our rain to the north. And we might see some here. But the bulk of the atmospheric river that you might have heard about seems to at this point shifted to BC. And I'll show you that as so Christmas Day. Hang on, I'll show you the atmospheric river in BC. But Christmas Day here, let me just make sure I'm still on the right tab, and I am. Christmas Day on the forecast, I'm going to pull this up, is saying, and I know you don't want to ignore the snowflake, but it's a 10% or 20%, which means next to nothing, because precip is gone. Is basically there's not much. Could we see a snowflake or two? Maybe. I mean, at this point, it's drying up. And Christmas Day has very little precip chance. Slight chance rain or snow. Ignore the snow. I mean, again, it's not going to be anything. And it's going to melt as it warms up. And, 42 degrees here in Linden. But it looks like overall, while it might be a somewhat cloudy day, Christmas Day might be a nice day overall. Okay? And then Friday is probably a chance of rain, but we'll deal with that later. Saturday is also a chance of rain, but may not be too bad. See, what's happening is this atmospheric river is pretty much shifted north, which is probably a really good thing for Washington State. And I'm going to show you this on the GFS here. Let me just run the GFS here. And here we go. This is, I don't know, I'm going to show you this. Here is this little feature with the possible windstorm. This big upper level low just spinning out here, and California's going to get some fun. And then it's kind of going to go push east as we go into Thursday, or Friday, excuse me. Here comes this ridge. And you'll note as I go back here is Christmas Day back east. I mean, there's going to be some 60s, 70s. I mean, there's going to be some, I don't know what Houston, Texas will be, but it's going to be warm in Houston, Texas. Hey, let's look at what Houston, Texas's forecast is going to be for Christmas Day. Okay, let's just look at this. I will give a recap, or finish my recap. Houston, Texas will be 77 degrees on Christmas Day and 80 on Friday. There you go. Crazy. So anyway, and then you'll see this upper level low is going to push kind of down into California here. We got another one in the center of the Canadian provinces, which I'm not very good with remembering which province is which. And then that upper level low. But you see this ridge right here, and up over top of it is going to be probably a bunch of precip. If this ridge was shifted south a bunch, then we're going to get that precip. But that feels like an atmospheric river for as we go into next week, but it looks like it's shunted to BC at this point. Okay? And then we're into La La Land, and we got more of the same pattern trying to set up again. Oh my goodness. We are going to be so sick of this pattern. Yikes. But this is actually not the wettest run. I mean, this is a more dry run for sure, precip-wise. While there is going to be some precip, it's not showing as much. Let's take a look at the Euro here and see if it's spit anything out for tonight. Nope, just started. But you notice on the GFS for precip here, and let me just push this all the way to the end, or at least till middle of next week here. Here's Sunday. I mean, this is just not a lot of precip. It's all going north. That's a good thing, I think. I think we need a break. And then as we go into January 1st, I mean, this is quite a dry run on the GFS tonight. Honestly, there could be a few mostly dry days coming. So, wow, 71, Christmas Day in Central Illinois. Wow, that's crazy. So, this might be a welcome relief to a lot of people, especially the people that have been flooded. That atmospheric river, at least at this point, is trending north, and you'll see, and that's exactly what the forecast discussion said here tonight. And I don't know if you guys or gals were along with me, whatever we talked about this, and the CPC put out that thing saying that, more atmospheric rivers, and people were, and I said, let's just wait and see what happens. Again, we still have to wait and see what happens, but at this point, BC up north seems to be where a lot of the precip might be going. And that may not be good for them. But again, I don't know snow levels. I don't know what, all that up there for them. I'm not going to look at that. So, okay. Any other questions? And then, we got some, yes. Just a second here. I see another one here from, let's see, Josh Skolton. Good to have you. Shireen says, get your generators ready. Yeah, if you do have one, always good to be prepared. Again, watch the page. Come to Whatcom County Weather. I may do a short video tomorrow morning too, so I'll put that up on YouTube. And then the link on Facebook. So, okay, Gloria says, Christmas Day on Oahu is a high of 76 and a low of 71. Oh my goodness. That doesn't seem like Christmas to me, but oh wow, that's crazy. Okay, so to recap here tonight, forecast-wise, let me make sure you can still see it here. And this is, again, Linden. Let me zoom this back out. We got a chance of rain into tomorrow, though maybe afternoon or late morning afternoon may not be a bad. Tuesday night and Wednesday we'll have some chance of rain again, maybe a quarter inch in the lowlands. That's to be decided. Some snow in the mountains. We got a winter storm warning still going in the mountains. Wednesday we're watching for a potential of a bad windstorm or a nothing burger or something in between. Thursday, Christmas Day is looking pretty decent for precip, not much. Could we see a snowflake? I don't know. You might see one on your Christmas tree. That's probably the only one in the lowlands, but we'll see. Maybe the foothills have a little bit, but there's just not a lot of precip left, is what we're seeing. And Friday may not be a half bad day, and neither may Saturday. So, It'll be cool on the cool side, lots of 40s and 30s. And actually, Wednesday night, keep an eye on freezing as well. 33 low here in Linden. Of course, by the water may not be, but inland it could have close to freezing. So let me think. Am I missing anything else? Thank you for those who have donated to the fundraiser. I just want to mention, if you didn't want to give through the GoFundMe, you at the top of the page on Whatcom County Weather, you'll find the featured section, and we always pin the forecast, which we'll probably update here again soon, and I'll probably have to write a summary for those who aren't going to watch the live tonight, but you also have the fundraiser link here. And then one other thing, well, two other things. Number one, if you're still here, I'm gonna do something special here at the end of this live stream. So hang on, if you're still here, I'm gonna give away something. So if you've stayed the whole time, I'm going to give somebody or two somebody's something in just a second. But before I forget here, if you click on the GoFundMe link, and it'll explain everything. There's my Venmo is here, the PayPal, and address is for checks. If you want to support, great. If you don't have the resources, no problem. Okay. And then I also have a Ko-Fi link, which I failed to put in here today, but it is what it is. I'll get that another day. So really appreciate that. Okay. Let me check in last time. Josh says, good day for mountain snowshoeing. Yeah, I need to get my snowshoes out as well. Mia says, can you say happy anniversary to my wife, Cheryl, from her loving wife, Mia? I guess I could say happy anniversary. Oh, my goodness. And then let me see. If you're still here, how could I do this? If you're still around, let me think. I would like to give a couple calendars away tonight. Let me think. How could I do this? Maybe if, let me think. I'm just trying to think how I could do this. What would be the best way of giving a couple calendars away? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Okay, I'll give one there. JICWFS on YouTube. I'll give it one away on Facebook and one away on YouTube. And you'll have to somehow message me your address. I'll pay for everything. So I don't know how. You can email randysmall@yahoo.com. Send me your email. Make sure you identify who you are on YouTube. And I'll send you a calendar. Mountains or landscape, let me know. On Facebook, who wants a calendar? Let's see. Anybody? You want to know the Christmas temperature for Bellingham? I can look that up. Anybody on Facebook want one of my 2026 calendars? Well, let me look at what kind of... It's going to be in the 40s. I know that here. A Christmas day for Bellingham, high of 44. So, and a low, of 36 that night. So, I guess nobody on Facebook wants a calendar. Okay, no problem. Okay, you're here in Linden. Great. You can either stop by my office, because I don't know who you are, or I'll ship it to you for free. So, great. Okay, you all want one? Shireen, you want a calendar? Okay, I know where you live. Send me an... Oh, now I'm getting everybody. Ha ha. Okay. Okay. I got enough. Shireen was first. Okay, Shireen, send me your... I know where you live, but send me your address. I will send you a free calendar, and I will give away calendars again on the next Facebook or the next live stream, probably at the end. Okay, and this will only be on live. Once it's done, that's it. So return next time, maybe tomorrow night. I'm not sure. It will not be Christmas Eve night. But I'm trying to get some live streaming set up for YouTube. Again, still working on that. But thank you to those who... Oh, now Shireen wants to buy a couple. Well, if you want to buy a couple, I'll give it to somebody else. Oh, my goodness. Well, Shireen, I'm willing to give you one. Okay? Okay. Anything else anybody has for tonight? Oh, my goodness. Okay. You will message me. Great. Mr. Morbeck says, where can we buy a calendar? Okay, yes, I put up a post today about the calendar, so if you go to Whatcom, okay, I've got a message here from somebody for the calendar, but if you Go down to earlier today with the calendar picture from earlier today. It'll list out everywhere. So if you're looking for a calendar, and let me tell you, Jaeger's sold out today. We were able to get 10 more in fast since my wife had some in her vehicle and she ran some over. I will be at Jaeger's hopefully tomorrow to see if they're out again, but they are going faster now. Connections in Linden has it. Green Barn, let me make sure you can see this. Green Barn on Birch Bay Linden in Linden, across from Les Schwab has it. Jaeger's has it in Bellingham. It's upstairs in Toyland. It used to be downstairs, now it's upstairs when you go in, kind of I think where the old ski shop used to be. Check in with Chrissy there at Jaeger's. Fairway Drug has them. Linden Artisan Market has them. Sumas Drug has some. Village Books in both Linden and Bellingham, I think still have them in. And then in Ferndale, Anytime Toffee has it on 3rd Avenue in Ferndale. I think that's all my locations this year. I haven't heard that Anytime Toffee has, out. So, Mr. Moravec, that's probably where you would find the closest place. Anyway, so... okay. Have I recapped? Have I gone over everything I needed to go over? I hope I'm not missing anything. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.